Chris, thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Obviously a lot of competitiveness in terms of cities and a huge amount of competitiveness in terms of attracting human capital.
Yeah.
What are the trends that you're seeing particularly and that you're focused on as a city?
In one respect, it's important that Liverpool comes to events like this in the first place, because we have to be seen as an outward-facing city that's irrespective of our country's difficulties in terms of Europe, that we want to be seen to be a progressive global city. And therefore what we sought to do this weekend, we seek to do on a regular basis, is not just about the great opportunities that there are in Liverpool in terms of investment and in end user investment as well, but also the environment in which you'll undertake that investment. So very much about the connection to the local populace, the local talent, the ability to fundamentally get good connectivity to the place so that you can attract that talent. So you can attract talent from external to come into that place, but also you've got talent coming through our universities and our colleges and through our education system that provides that sort of talent base both inside the city and outside the city. If you connect that then with the context of the culture and the nature of the place, you create the fact that actually that's the place you would like to take and grow with your family, as well as you'd like to grow your business. And it's pulling all of these assets together, in terms of the shaping of that place, that we think starts to begin to tell a real story about why you would want to come to Liverpool, well before we would get into a proposition conversation. So in a certain respect, it's not necessarily putting how much you would pay per square metre at the front. It's putting that actually at the back and giving all these other reasons as to why you might be interested in coming to a place like Liverpool, because we know in one regard that if we can get people to the city, then actually half our job is done.
And how much of what you're looking at is beginning to connect into that idea of livability, walkability, well-being, health, which seems to be factors that are growing in importance at the moment?
It's really important for us. I mean, there's a whole notion of inclusive growth, which is not just about the economics, but about the social impact. So I'll give you an example of that. We have a multi-billion-pound project taking place in the university sector of the city, which will fundamentally bring some of the international life science and medical businesses, and that area will bring 20,000 employees into that area of high skilled nature, and that is in a boundary of 400 meters from there is a more deprived area of the city. And if we don't tackle the two things together, then fundamentally that place will either go one of two ways. That place will either get worse, or it can become included in that context, so we can develop that whole agenda together. And therefore the benefit will come not only to the campus that's been developed, but also to the residents who live in the proximity of that campus. Now, I don't think probably a number of years ago we'd have looked at that at all. We'd have kind of hoped it might happen. But now that whole project is including that whole area as well, and also about giving those people the opportunity to gain the skills that they need to be able to take up the opportunities there. So that livability factor starts to become very important in the context that we want those people to feel that if they come to work in there, if they wanted to live 400 metres away, they could do. So I think we're starting to become a lot more cleverer and more smarter at beginning to join these things up. So it's not just about the inward investment, it's about the impact on the infrastructure around it that allows people to cycle, to walk, to not necessarily have to take the car, so beginning to reflect that in the number of car parking spaces they begin to allocate. So joining that agenda up in a much more holistic way, which we therefore think provides the conditions for investment much better. So it's a big turnaround in the way that we positioned really our inward investment propositions going forward.
Very interesting to see how these trends are beginning to influence both the cities but also the investment side as well. Thanks very much for joining us, Chris.
Yes, no problem at all. Yeah.